Post-traumatic stress disorder is a mental health condition that is triggered by terrifying events by either experiencing it or witnessing it.
These traumatic events typically include combat exposure, childhood physical abuse, sexual violence, physical assault, being threatened with a weapon, or an accident. PTSD is probably caused by a complex mix of stressful experiences, including the amount and severity of trauma that you've gone through in your life, inherited mental health risks, such as a family history of anxiety and depression, inherited features of your personality, also known as your temperament, and the way your brain regulates the chemicals and hormones your body releases in response to stress.
Some symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder may start within 1 month after a traumatic event, but sometimes symptoms may not appear until years after. It includes intrusive memories, which are recurrent, unwanted, distressing memories of the traumatic event, reliving the traumatic event as if it were happening again in flashbacks, upsetting dreams or nightmares, severe emotional distress or physical reactions to something that reminds you of the event. It also includes avoidance, which is trying to avoid thinking or talking about the traumatic event, avoiding places, activities, or people that remind you of the traumatic event. And the symptoms can vary intensely over time. You may have more symptoms when you're stressed in general or when you come across reminders of what you went through. Increased arousal, such as difficulty sleeping and concentrating, feeling jumpy and being easily irritated and angered. And PTSD causes the victim to have feelings of intense fear and helplessness. Today we will be interviewing my dad about how PTSD is viewed from his eyes. So, what did you serve in?
I served in the U.S. Army in the 3rd Battalion, 325th Infantry.
Do you see any symptoms within yourself or other veterans you've served with?
Yes, I do. Like anger, stress, sleeplessness, anxiety.
How do the things you've seen affect you to this day?
I guess I've seen things that kids your age haven't seen, and being in a combat situation caused me to, just wrestle with daily struggles and just different things throughout the day or throughout the week.
Do you think it should be more accessible for people with PTSD to get help, or have a viewing after you get out of the Army to see if you guys are okay?
That'd be a good idea. Yeah, I think that would work pretty well.
Okay, well, thank you for talking with me.
You're welcome.
To diagnose post-traumatic stress disorder, your doctor will likely either perform a physical exam to check for medical problems that may be causing your symptoms, do a psychological evaluation that includes discussion of your signs and symptoms, or use the criteria from the DSM-5. Diagnosis of PTSD requires exposure to an event that involves actual possible threats of death, violence, or serious injury. Your exposure can happen in one or more of these ways. You directly experienced the traumatic event, you witnessed it in person, you learned someone close to you experienced it, or you repeatedly exposed to graphic details of the traumatic event.
PTSD is commonly treated using psychotherapy, but sometimes it's also used in combination with drugs. One of the typical psychotherapies that is used is cognitive therapy, which is a talk therapy that helps you review your cognitive patterns that are keeping you stuck on the traumatic event. Another type of psychotherapy is exposure therapy, which is a behavioral therapy that helps you safely face both situations and memories that you find frightening so you can learn how to cope with them efficiently. And the last one that's typically used is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR, which combines exposure therapy with rapid eye movements that helps you process traumatic memories and change how you react to them.
In the U.S., an estimated 70% of adults have experienced a traumatic event at least once in their lives, and up to 20% of these people go on to develop post-traumatic stress disorder. An estimated 1 out of 10 women will get PTSD in some point of their life, and women are twice as likely as men to develop PTSD.